Hello everybody, Andrew here, and today this is going to be my Hail Caesar review. So guys, Hail Caesar is the latest Coen Brothers movie, and the Coen Brothers have done other films like Fargo, No Country for Old Men, Oh Brother Where Art Thou, Big Lebowski, and etc. It's interesting. It's really interesting. So guys, I went to go see this movie on a Friday afternoon, this Friday afternoon, actually, and I was like one of about 15 to 20 people in the theater. Kind of small, but I guarantee you I was probably the youngest person in the theater. Actually, getting to the theater was an interesting endeavor all in itself because I go to school, I don't have a car, so I had to get a bus, and because of the times and everything, I kind of cut it close, but I didn't. Because of something called movie trailers, guys. Yeah, movie trailers, they last too long during movies. That's another video for another time. So guys, Hail Caesar stars Josh Brolin. It stars George Clooney. It stars Ralph Fiennes. It's got Scarlett Johansson, it Tilda Swinton, Channing Tatum, Jonah Hill has a small part in it and everything, and just a bunch of other cameoed people in there and stuff like that. And the main character, obviously, is Josh Brolin's character, who is Eddie Mannix. And Eddie Mannix, an actual real person, but this is more of a loose interpretation of that character. He plays the studio fixer. So this guy basically goes around, Josh Brolin's character goes around, and he fixes things. And that could mean paying ransom money, like he has to do in this movie, or making someone, basically helping their public image so gossip doesn't get out and things like that. Making these people look like the gods because they're in movies and stuff like that. And it's a really interesting movie. It's an odd movie and it has its flaws, but I'm going to give my score and then I'm going to give reasons why after that. So my score for this movie is an 8, okay? Now, I posted on Instagram and Facebook earlier, right after I left the movie, that it was like a 7.5. I go by what I said in the review. However, what I don't go with in that is the fact that it's a 7.5. I go with, I'll bump it up to an 8 because after thinking about it and thinking about it in my head and just being like, okay, well, this made sense with this and all these other things lined up. Here's my reasons why it's an 8. One, the story structure. Without giving too much away, obviously, the story structure goes Josh Brolin's character, okay, and then it splits along Josh Brolin's character line and arc here. His character has an arc, along his character path, his path throughout the movie, from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie. Over here, you have him, and then it breaks off into all these other characters, whether it be Channing Tatum, or Scarlett Johansson, or Ralph Fiennes, or everybody he meets along the way, George Clooney, etc. And it really is an interesting movie. That all being said, again, has some flaws and things, and I'll get to those in a minute. But, again, Josh Brolin, this is one of the best performances I've seen him do. I haven't seen a whole lot of his stuff, mainly because I didn't know he could do stuff like this. Honestly, Josh Brolin is one of those guys that you're just like, okay, he was in the Goonies. I mean, he was Sean Astin's brother in the movie. But, like, I didn't know much, honestly, and this is true. I didn't know much of what Josh Brolin did, other than No Country for Old Men, and I knew he was Thanos in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's really it. That's all I knew of his filmography and everything. And he was in that movie Gangster Squad, I believe, right? That terrible movie. But I noticed that in this movie, this dude can act, and he's got some good acting chops and everything. And his character, it could have been cliched. His character could have been super cliched, and for reasons that I won't elaborate in the video or whatnot. But his character could have been super cliched, and I'm glad he wasn't. So George Clooney in this movie, I'm just going to go through a couple characters here. But George Clooney's character, Bird Whitlock, is George Clooney. I mean, really, in that sense, he's just George Clooney. he plays a character that would, if George Clooney existed in this time period, which is like the 30s, 40s kind of era and everything in movie making, yeah, that's what would happen. Scarlett Johansson's character, again, really interesting character. She's a water actress. If you remember, like, those old films and everything, where they would have scenes where these, like, women are swimming and stuff, and they'd have all this water stuff. It's really, like, weird. Like, you see these old movies on, like, TCM and stuff, Turner Classic Movies. You see all these old movies and stuff, and you're like, that stuff is so of its time, and this movie tends to actually bring things like that into play. There's, like, songs with dances and things. It's these Roman epics that, Hail Caesar, which is the movie. It's this Roman epic and stuff like that. So it's like, in the movie, the production value in this movie is great. There's a scene where, this isn't a spoiler really, but Josh Brolin and this other guy walk out of this door, and you think they're standing in outside of a real building. What's actually, the camera, there's a cut in the film, and you see them up against, like, this pillar or whatnot, and then it goes to a wide shot, and it shows that they're on the back lot of the studio, and it's just a flat for a big, like, Roman temple, and it's like, that is clever. And they're just walking on the set, and they're building all these Roman statues and whatnot. It's a really interesting moment. Again, the cinematography in this movie is really interesting, and that's something I'm going to really try and focus on in my videos, is the actual filmmaking aspects of these films that I will review and everything. Whether it be from Star Wars to this, or Deadpool, or any other movie that I go and review, I'm going to try and talk about the filmmaking aspects of it. Whether it be the sound design, which in this movie, you think, okay, where's the sound design? In the all the production value and everything. There's a moment in the movie where a piece of film kind of gets destroyed. I'm not going to tell you how it gets destroyed, but a piece of film gets destroyed, and then when they play back that scene, you can see the little blip in the film and everything. I'm like, that's continuity. That's making something look cool. Now it's like it's almost like that's one way film could have gotten ruined or not. I'm not going to tell you what happens, but it's an interesting scene, to say the least. But it's like, oh, maybe that's how some film gets a little distorted or whatnot. But it's interesting. It was just interesting the way the Coen brothers designed some of their shots and things. There's a shot where and I think it's in the trailer for the movie and whatnot. But the character of Hobie, who's like the cowboy, usually the cowboy guy, it's in the same scene where he's talking to Ray Fiennes about, would it just was so simple, That scene is hilarious, by the way, all by itself. But there's a shot, and the funny thing about that scene is his shoes squeak and everything, like, it's really funny, just watching, because there's, like, no sound other than his shoes squeaking and him stepping and everything. And it's really good sound design. I think that is something that's really underappreciated. Great sound design, great, it's a lot of the post-production stuff that makes this movie really, really good. Honestly, if there is any CGI in the movie, I didn't notice any. I mean, that's great. When you can't tell something was CGI, I love that in movies, because they could have. There's some moments in this movie they could have CGI'd, and maybe they did. I didn't notice. They could have made. There's a shot in the trailer where there's a submarine. They could have CGI'd a submarine or the background. I don't know how they did it. They could have CGI'd. I don't know. They could have CGI'd anything in this movie. They didn't. Now there's probably also there probably are some optical effects and things like that in the movie, or just some maybe extension of backgrounds and things. There probably is, but honestly, and that's in every movie. But I didn't notice any CGI, and I'm really happy about that, because, I mean, after coming off of movies like Star Wars and stuff like that, where that pride themselves in their practical effects and things like that, but still have a lot of CGI in them, that is noticeable, because, okay, well, Rathtars don't exist in the real world, Supreme Leader Snoke doesn't exist in the real world. I don't have a reference point. That's why humans don't tend to look great when they CGI them, except for Ant-Man, when they made Michael Douglas look like 40 years younger. That was clever. I'll give him that. But anyway, this movie, it's really interesting. This movie, I really, really enjoyed this movie a lot. Would I see it again in the theater? No, I wouldn't. But I would definitely Redbox it again. I don't know if I'd buy it yet. I mean, I only saw it once, but I definitely would recommend this movie to people if you're looking for some interesting, different storytelling, a new, original story. The movie, how long is it? It's about an hour and it's 106 minutes. So what's that? An hour and 46 minutes, something like that. Yeah, it's an hour and 46 minutes long. Honestly, Deadpool's like 2 minutes shorter. I saw that. Yeah, Deadpool's like an hour and 44 minutes, so it's like that's fairly quick. And the movie kind of does move. It does move. It's not fast. But it's not slow. As far as pacing issues, and I'm gonna right now I'll get into some of the issues of the movie. Some of the issues consist of some pacing, but the pacing works in some places. Sometimes you're just kind of wondering what's going on, like when George Clooney gets kidnapped. This is in the trailer. George Clooney gets kidnapped, and the characters right away don't really tell him why, and he doesn't even really ask why. And they kind of give him some. They kind of give him some BS answer, really, and you're kind of like, tell him why is he here? Ask, dude, ask why am I here? Yeah, I mean I would, and I understand why the scene lingers like that, for the movie and everything, but there's like 3 or 4 minutes you could have cut out of the movie by asking one question, like why am I here? Who are you people? What are you doing? And thinking about it, they don't actually lie to him. They don't actually lie to him or anything. They just don't give him a straight answer right away. And then a narrator comes in and tells you what it is, and you're kind of like, wait, what? It was a weird twist in the movie. Obviously, I'm not going to give it away, but it's a weird twist, and it was kind of like, huh, that's interesting. And it's the twist actually in some cases becomes pretty funny, but then it becomes pretty serious. So yeah. Other than that, there's not a whole lot wrong with this movie. If you're a fan of like dramas and things like that, you might like this. Especially if you're a fan of like Wes Anderson, I think you would find this interesting, because it is an interesting film, and I definitely go see it. It's an interesting movie, and I think both the Metacritic score right now and the IMDb score, I think I mentioned this earlier, is a 7.4, or a 74. So yeah, I mean that's not a bad score. That's a fresh score on Rotten Tomatoes. So there you go. I mean it's all good. So guys, Hail Caesar. Are you going to see it? Have you seen it? What do you think? Write that in the comment section below. Also subscribe to my channel. You get some really cool videos like this where I'll talk about some movies. I'm going to see Deadpool next week, and I'm going to try and do that review with a friend or two. Get some other opinions in here. It'll probably be a pretty long, maybe one-shot, one-take video or whatnot. And yeah, I'm gonna do that. I've got a few more videos coming out. I know I still have some Batman reviews to come out. I'm kind of running behind on that, but I've been busy with play practice and things like that. So I will definitely get those out. They have been shot, but I would just have to edit them. That's really what I got to do. Again, guys, like this video if you did like this video. Yeah, and that's it. Again, guys, I'm the College Critic, and I will see you all next time. Thank you.